Okay, commissioners, the meeting is live.
Well, we call this July 8th meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please, everybody join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everybody. Nice, sunny, shiny Monday morning. Hope everybody's got their fingers and toes. I do. So we'll start with that at least. Hopefully everybody had a good, safe 4th of July holiday. Good week. We'll go ahead and get started this morning. As usual, some public comment. And I know we at least have one.
Good morning, commissioners, and as usual, I'm back. My name is Gary Olds. I live at 3308 Frontier Circle. I just want to make this brief. I want to plant a seed. I'm going to ask for the moon and probably settle for a moonbeam, might be the expression. One of the things that I found very helpful and very transparent and very communicative with the Manhattan City Commission is they formatted their public comments so that if the item is not on the agenda, you can speak at the beginning in public comments and journal, but the items on the agenda, they allow public comment during that topic or after that topic is discussed or somewhere in that neighborhood. I would ask you to consider a similar format, particularly for the topics that are of interest to people specifically. 8:30 is an early time. I assume that as well as everybody else, other than you all, that work in this building, everybody else is at work, so they might be able to come in over the lunch hour if your meeting extends to that point, or you may open it up so if there's a particular topic on the agenda that they're aware of and they want to speak to, you would consider their public comment. So I would ask that you would consider one of those things here soon, or perhaps when you get done with the elections and reorganization that you do as you discuss the format with regards to public comment. And I have no idea how other county commissioners do it, but I think it's very important that you continue to have open dialogue in public, such as in this format in your meeting where people could speak. And specifically, obviously, for my interest, would be on the budget and the budget preparation, the existing budget, as well as the budget preparation for each calendar year. Thank you. And I'll be back, but I gotta go see a banker.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vivian Leva, Public Information Officer for Riley County. We completed our first week of the alternate schedule in the Riley County office building. So far, so good. We had positive feedback from several customers.
I was going to say you're actually on the press conference to discuss that at 9:30.
Oh, I thought I was just discussing the blood drive that I will.
Well, that's on there too.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't see that I was on there. So I will quietly exit.
Okay.
Slowly back away from the microphone.
It's like you were never there.
Thank you.
Right, 12 and 13 on the press conference. Yeah. Sure, I wasn't losing something. Does anybody else? Preferably not on the agenda. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and close off public comment then and move to commissioner comments and Commissioner Kinley. Okay,
Last Monday after the meeting, went up to the new election offices on the 4th floor. They're still moving in boxes stacked around, but it's a very nice space. Looks like it's going to work well for them. Tuesday evening, I attended the Leonardville City Council meeting. They and the audience both said we need to ask to keep the quarterly meetings in small towns. They all think that's important, and we just need to publicize them a little more. Our next meeting is scheduled, and Leonard mentioned that Leonardville is scheduled for August 29th, and we need to reschedule it. That's the match day for the Rural Riley County Community Foundation and a back to school sports meeting all going on that evening already. He said there wouldn't be anybody that isn't at one of those meetings. So just ask if we could try to rearrange it.
Another week or something.
Yeah, try to move it to a different time. Which I'm glad I happened to mention it because and I knew, I mean, I've seen stuff about that match day coming out, but I hadn't made it. But several people pointed out, there's a lot already going on that night. So
Yeah.
we do it.
Well,
And the rest of the week was quiet for meetings, not for fireworks. There's neighbors that had some really big stuff going on that night. But
Good thing is, it didn't cost you anything.
that's all I got.
Okay, Commissioner Fogarty.
Okay. Well, let's see, Tuesday, had a committee meeting at my church, went on and on, which was important. And then a doctor appointment later that afternoon. Wednesday, I attended the West Loop Business Association monthly meeting at Rocket K's event space. Like a good place to see people and network with all the different business people in the area. Stephanie Pierce, the executive director of Spark, which is the entrepreneurial support hub of the chamber, made a presentation on the group's 3 C's of support for startup businesses: cultivation, collaboration, and cooperation. And they have a space now in Aggieville, and it's behind the Butler Family Foundation building, which is the old Pizza Hut. I'm not for sure if it's I'm not for sure. They said where it was. I'll have to go. I just can't quite get my head around where it is. But anyway, they can be reached at 785-286-8723 if you're interested in starting a new business and need some help. Or you can go to their website, which is sparkmhk.com. And after the presentation, participants share updates on their businesses and organizations and the different things going on, which is always informative. There will be no August meeting, but we'll resume in August. Thursday, which was the 4th of July, had lunch with a group of friends at the Aggieville Brewing Company out on Highway 177. If you haven't been there, it's really a great place. Yeah. It's a great way to spend the afternoon. That evening, my neighborhood is like a war zone, basically, and I was trying to get out of there, but there's no way. So they go on until about midnight, so I didn't sleep a whole lot. Friday, spent time here in the office going over today's meeting and documents. Also got my driver's license renewed, which was a real simple, easy process with an appointment right on time. Everything went real smooth. Fairly quiet weekend. I got some yard work done and some indoor projects kind of accomplished. Ran into some snags. Anyway, that's it for me.
Okay, well, as for me, Monday afternoon, had a phone conversation with Anthony Davis, senior producer for the mini documentary series Viewpoints. It's that show that I was discussing with you guys. It's hosted by Dennis Quaid. Clancy was on the call with me. They were discussing their upcoming project titled Discover America, Great Places to Live, Work, and Start a Business. Mr. Davis asked a series of questions to correspond to the subject, and I don't know, we'll see how it works out in the future. I'd say 50-50 on that. I think they said they still had a few other communities they were reaching out to, and they would either get back with us, and I don't know. So we'll see on that one. Maybe yeah, maybe no. So we'll see. Also Monday afternoon, met with my doctor at Stolnut Vale. Finally had a pretty decent meeting for a change. Seems like we got a better plan moving forward. Hopefully it leads to some better results as well, but we'll see on that. Time will tell. Did cancel Wednesday's pre-law board meeting at the Law Enforcement Center, obviously due to the 4th of July holiday. We worked through July's agenda via email. It's completed and we're ready to go for the meeting on the 15th, which will also include the meetings for the fall, which will be in the cities of Randolph and Riley this year. So going up north. We got to go through that whole statutory resolution process to complete that. And I don't know what the dates are yet. But it will be sometime in the fall, September and October is what I'm assuming. For the 4th of July, I did as I usually do. I headed out to Western Kansas Wednesday night, took in a concert, actually out in Hayes. Really neat little setup there in their fairgrounds section there. Saw the bands Paramount and Nate Smith. Kind of an up and coming alternative country guy, I guess. I can't remember the name of it. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah. They kind of moved everything up because there was supposed to be severe weather that came through, and it did come through at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So they really didn't need to do all that, but they moved some things up, and they didn't really tell anybody. They kind of just posted it on Facebook, and so it kind of made a lot of people mad. But anyway, pretty good. Just something different to do. Kind of cool how they set that up out there. Thursday morning, headed up to Plainsville. They got a big fireworks warehouse up there. It's not that's not a all year round thing. They just kind of stock it and sell a bunch of stuff. And so we bought about $1,200 worth of stuff. But it was half off. So literally it was only like $700 at the end, but that's what the normal price would have been. And yeah, we drove to my friend's brother's house down in Great Bend, and we didn't get through everything we bought. So I guess there's hope for next year. Then let off my 16,000 firecrackers all at once. That was fun.
Tradition.
Yeah. It rolls out to almost a half a block. And this year the neighbors actually got involved. We figured they would get all mad about it. They were actually all involved with it. They helped us clean up and everything. So kudos to them. So yeah, had a good time. And it was a lot cooler this year, man. The last 2 years, and it was over 100 degrees. And by the time you get to like 6 o'clock, you're kind of like, so this year actually was a little bit better, but we had fun. So it was good. Like I said, everybody kept their fingers and toes. So all good. Last, I also wanted to mention Pawnee Mental Health has received its full certification as a certified community behavioral health clinic. As you're aware, they've started this process a year ago, and I know Mike discussed it when he was here on Monday, but it's been a year-long process of trying to make, and they're still working through that transition, but it was a kind of, not a full, but it was a kind of a temporary certification so they can start working through those dynamics, and now they can officially say they are certified. And I don't know how many of them across the state have made that transition or certified, but I do know Pawnee is, and they do service obviously a 10-county region here in Northeast Kansas. So congratulations to them. A lot of work moving forward still, as you're obviously hearing, but that's a huge step along the way. So, and that's all I got this morning.
Ready for business, commissioners?
Sure.
Have several Riley County Employee Action Forms for Zach Pugmeyer, intern, Health Department, separation of service. Daphne Medina, Florida, temporary bilingual MCH home visitor, Health Department, separation of service. Daniel Moeller, appraiser 2, residential, separation of service. Kathy Ostrom, on-call juvenile intake, community corrections, separation of service. Angela McKinley, custodian 1, Public Works Department, separation of service. Antonio Castillo, Deputy Chief of Administration in Riley County Fire Department, separation of service. Jacob Rowe, new hire, volunteer firefighter stipend. And then Ryan Stevens, a new hire, volunteer firefighter stipend. All 3, please sign separate forms.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Do all the commissioners want to go to Good Morning Manhattan?
When is it?
The what?
It's on the 18th.
that what it
Yeah,
is?
that'd be next. They have a speaker.
Yes, Brendan Worth, Political Affairs Director for the Kansas Farm Bureau. We'll be able to talk about the his program. I can't remember how it's about.
All of you want to attend? Clancy?
Yes. I think
Brian,
Brian.
do you want to go to Good Morning Manhattan on the 18th?
On the 18th, I'm gonna go.
Absolutely.
That's a week from Thursday. Let's see.
The commissioners have any changes to the minutes?
I didn't actually look, to be honest with you.
I didn't have any.
Motion?
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the July 1st meeting of the Board of Riley County Commissioners.
Second.
The move is seconded to approve the minutes from the July 1st meeting of the Riley County Commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
Tentative, okay, commissioners?
Yeah.
Any items for next week's press conference?
Wall looks pretty good, the new station.
Yeah, one big wall sticking up there. All the footings look like they're done.
Yeah, they are pretty close, yeah.
And
Get out, but yeah.
I didn't get out and look. I drove around it a couple times.
It's amazing.
Figure out where that, what, is that the center wall or can you tell?
It's the north wall of the apparatus bay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Between the apparatus bay and the office.
It's amazing, as Greg knows, the amount of concrete that goes into a project before you can even see anything.
Especially something that large.
Just living through it in my son's house, we're doing this like, my gosh, he used a lot of concrete. We're still not done.
Building a big house for him? What?
Oh, not big, I mean 1,700 square feet. It's been too bad. Good size.
Yeah, my house needs a couple hundred, about 1,700. It's okay for one person.
Oh, I don't know, we started out raising 4 kids in under 1,000 square feet, and we started out in 2 bedrooms. That's when people tell me that, I said, got that beat.
Yeah, I was ready. We had a one bedroom house, and I don't know how big it was. It was really, really small. One bedroom, one bathroom,
Absolutely.
living room.
That's basically the regular water.
Oh, yeah.
That was church of us. So,
We're such a
I don't
different
know.
caffeine.
It might have been 300.
It may not last. No, we have some. Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if the news about some, yeah, right, whenever you want to get together. Oh, okay, just something. They're being all. I'm not sure, but sure. This one more. Oh, it's used already, yes. Yeah.
I didn't realize when I first saw you today how just clean shaven your entire effort.
Like I said, at department head, it was
So.
an accident,
Fresh when I actively. Oh, okay.
just like John Ellen.
You have to do that every day?
No, he's talking about losing the mustache.
Thank you.
Oh.
I did a terrible job trimming.
And you've recently even gone much shorter up here.
Yes, it's a little shorter. I did I I told department heads already, so, but I made the mistake that John did. And then I didn't put the guard on the razor, but I added an element of stupidity when I started because I didn't put my glasses on. And then I put them on. It had to go.
We lit off a lot of fireworks and then I had my oldest turned 30 yesterday, so we had his birthday party.
Does he think that's old?
Hmm?
Does he think that's old?
Well, if he doesn't, we sure make him try to film it.
Good.
No, I thought it was when it happened, but no, it's not. It's not.
It's a baby.
At the time, it's.
Yeah,
That's one of those.
it's that moment you're like, oh man, it's coming.
21 on, you don't pass any more legal impediments.
I had a brother-in-law that sincerely, I mean, he took 30 hard, I mean, to him at that point, and he took 30 hard. He was like, oh. He hasn't been as bad with the other since then, but I do remember him then, and I was like.
That's pretty neat.
I just figured just another number.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Still this side of the tulips, I'm okay.
It's a while ago.
Yeah, me as well. Not quite as long as you, but it's been a while.
My wife had a surprise birthday party for me, and she chased me out after something.
Uh-huh.
It seemed odd. Came back. There's a whole bunch of cars in the street. I mean, what's going on? I walked up, all these people coming out of the house. I was, what is this? And my wife said, it's your birthday. I went, oh.
Yeah.
That's good when it works.
Yeah, and it worked that time. But even when it's all the people, I said, they're why there's a mid-house.
Glad we did it.
Classroom.
So it's.
Don't want to get a kink in your neck. Not as young as you used to
Can't
be.
put in a workers' comp claim,
Good, but just about yourself.
taxpayer comp claim.
Yeah.
I had I think it was 2 years ago, the fire chief in Junction. He was over the codes department and he was insistent that if you had a contractor's license, you had to carry workers' comp. Like,
It's me.
sir, have you read the law? You're owner and you're the sole employee, or you sole workers, or you have no employees, you're not required. Well, you need to get, have you read the? Oh, okay. He's long gone. It's a little bit of a bull in the china shop.
Here we go. Another person trying to get my address. UPS package has arrived. We cannot be delivered due to incomplete address. You ever gotten it about? I don't know, UPS is on the way. You know, but they try to get your address.
Yeah, there's a stuff coming
I
up.
don't know what they want to do with it. But nothing good.
No.
It's really strange, but they've got my phone number.
Oh, is this the notice that something's at the warehouse?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
just sends it
Gibberish. Yeah.
I don't know how they get my phone number though.
If that's the first one, it won't be the last one you get now.
all the things they have to scam people.
Send them somebody else's.
So they got to do all day long. Where's the cheap?
Not here. Show up, well, snap. How about the police department?
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
got to- What's out there?
Yeah, give them that address.
What's the address on that? East Police, East.
I do not know their address off the top of my
What's
head.
the address of the police? It's a good idea.
Here?
Police department.
Oh,
I don't know where it is. I think I have some-
I got one the other day. Called saying they from Via Christie wanting insurance, because I had something on there. I had one insurance information. I don't have filled everything out. It was hard to understand and things, but it gave the numbers, just call us back at this number. And that was right after they'd had their so I took it in and they go, what? I said, so they took me on the, I said, they left a phone number. They called back and go, They were gonna check it and see what was going on.
I'm not sure the good outweigh the bad with all this technology and access to everything that we got.
Well, you're secure because county clerk's not gonna be replaced by AI.
At this point in my career, I'm okay if they are.
You can elect AI company.
At this point in my career, I'm okay if they do.
Yeah, he may be lobbying behind.
Yeah.
We'll see if they. 1001 South Seth Drive.
that's a thought.
I'm okay with it.
No. No, nice and to talk to a person.
It's a thought.
You can't be like human.
First, you gotta think of your grandchildren.
I don't know, some of the humans I talk to these days, I'd rather talk to AI.
What was it there? That country, what's from saying that had a stroke.
Oh, Randy Travis.
Yeah, he's doing a new album with AI.
Yeah.
And I saw that to me, that's really strange.
I'm thinking about trying to use that AI boot and see what I'd actually sound like, see what scares me. I don't know, being worse.
There was some actor that someone did something with AI.
Yeah.
I had just heard about it. I can almost think of his name, but yeah. He had to go on and say that was with me. That's not good.
Thank you.
I've been thinking about using AI to like run a campaign. If they can filter the data and stuff faster, I think a human could.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, that would work now in terms of actually replacing the person and that was, I don't know.
It is a huge problem in all levels of education.
Yeah.
All levels of education.
New meaning to the word plagiarism.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where perception will now be reality. AI's telling us.
Wasn't that like the first line of the original Star Trek or something?
You ready, commissioners?
Yeah.
Commissioners, we're at 50%. Believe it or not, how fast it got here, I do not know. Point in time of the year. So that's what we use as our barometer on this first page, on these pages, but this first one here at 2024 year-to-date wages and overtime compared to budget. You can see those highlighted in red, commissioners that have exceeded that at this point in time. Of course, it's just a snapshot. Not a huge concern at this point, something Brittany will keep an eye on. Those departments are within the general fund, so it's only a budget violation if it's the entire general fund. Very good shape at this point in time. I always like to keep an eye on the percent of overtime compared to wages. Of course, EMS ambulance always stands out, but we have to remember they're 7 day a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year service, so the majority of that is budgeted overtime. Public Works, 0.91 and Knox Sweet 0.63, not too bad so far, though they have a higher amount budgeted for overtime than the other more office administrative departments do at 8%. When the others are at 3%, so they're in pretty good shape, but you never know what the storm season will bring this fall. Overall, we're just at 2.91% of overtime with all funds. Commissioners have any questions or concerns with that report?
Why is the general fund so high on the health department? Did you just make a transfer?
Where are we at here?
Well, this is
Bottom.
salaries.
This is just salary, oh, sorry. Down there. Many times that has to do with, well, let's separate it out there.
I think, okay, so there are positions that are considered health department, so like some of our custodians that are actually paid out of public works. We have to code them as health department, so that when we report funding numbers to PPAG, we can explain how much ad valorem taxes, including the transfer that we are giving to the health department, and so I think that's what that separate line is.
Yeah, that's why it's coded that way, because I don't know if all of you commissioners remember, Commissioner Ford may, but the state of Kansas determines their funding to the individual health departments to be sure that you always at least match the previous year's allocation, because if you do not match it, so that's part of our in-kind match to say we match last year's, that way we get the full funding from them the next year. Because if you go below that, then they say, oh, well, you're spending less, you may not need that much from us, and so that's the reason for that. Any other questions, commissioners? Next report is just a little bit more detailed breakdown, regular salaries, seasonal and overtime for the respective departments. For the commissioner to give a little bit more detailed snapshot. Any questions on any of those numbers, commissioners? And I know these reports have a lot of numbers on them, commissioners, and as you know, after these meetings, if you look at them, if you have any questions, let us know. We'll be glad to find you the answers. Next report is 2024 year-to-date budget activity. Those highlighted in the blue are those that are above that 50% point in time. All of these on the first page are within the general fund overall, so it would only be if the entire general fund was over budget that it would be a concern. Of course, we watch them departmentally as well. Communicate with those departments to be sure everyone does their best to live within their departmental budgets. Of course, budget appropriations and insurance are cyclical based on when we do those transfers and when insurance premiums are due. Then general fund transfers we typically do all the end of the year. So all of those should come close to even and meeting that 100% mark by the end of the year. Of course, insurance is already above that, but you have to remember insurance goes up as we get more buildings, increased valuations on insurance rates, and so that all has an impact on that. Any questions on that first page, commissioners? I do like to point out county general there at 9.90. That's because of the budget stabilization amount of $4 million in that department. So that's why that's atypically low compared to the rest. We want that one to stay atypically low year in and year out. Any questions on that, commissioners? Next report, next page of that report. You can see those highlighted in the blue. Those are all community corrections juvenile intake funds. Of course, those are ones that we keep an eye on, and Brittany and Elizabeth have been working extensively with Megan and Jesse in community corrections, making sure everything's lined out within community corrections financially. Something that, of course, Megan and Brittany and Jesse will all watch very closely, and if we need to do a budget amendment at the end of the year, we will, which I can see with one, we already will. Any questions on those? Then you got Riley County Fire District number 1 at 53.95. Someone just keep an eye on it. Any questions? Next funds are all enterprise funds, benefit districts. No ad valorem tax dollars are used in any of these funds. It's all paid by fees or special assessments within those districts. All of those are looking fine at this point in time. Any questions? Next reports, just a little bit more detailed breakout comparatively from one year to the next of those respective departments. It's kind of a snapshot to see how they compare to the previous years on spending at the same point in time, and also during just that month compared to the previous year. Any questions on those, commissioners? It's a good snapshot, not always a great apples to apples comparison. Next, 2024 budget, year-to-date budget activity report. Personnel, there are no regular salaries or hourly wages to get paid out of that. That is all for separation of service. You can see at this point, there's 109,328 available left in budget, and so far we're doing good. Of course, as you know, we're not always given a heads up when someone is going to retire, so that's just a snapshot based on previous years, and we hope that will be adequate for this year. That number can change in a hurry. I always like to point out the budget stabilization amount of 4 million. As you know, that's a discussion topic through the budget work sessions that we've been having to increase that potentially a little bit. It's a very important balance for the security of the taxpayers and very important for our bond rating. Any questions on that, commissioners?
Is that the total in the engine and turning panel? Or I guess it's not a panel, but halfway through the year?
I can double check, but I have a formula in there that's pulling from our spreadsheet.
Okay, that seems awfully low.
I'll go double check it.
It can go up in a hurry too.
And that one can be kind of deceptive because kind of.
They're not always timely on submitting payment.
Oh, because if they haven't
Requests.
submitted their bills.
Right.
Paid it.
That has to go through the courts,
Mhm.
so.
It's not always a timely
Yeah.
process.
Okay,
Takes
yeah.
off.
So you may see it suddenly jump up rather quickly too.
And then
Based
you
on the
will,
backlog of bills.
Yeah.
that'll happen.
That's how that usually
Yeah.
goes. It's not as
Wasn't the
cyclical
case
as
on
month
that.
to month like all the others.
Okay.
Next, RCP expenses paid by Riley County. Of course, you can see all of these. Of course, the only one on here, the budget appropriations, of course, the city pays a budget appropriation as well, but all of the other expenses, I'd like to remind the commissioners and the taxpayers that all of those expenses are paid 100% by Riley County organization. No other public entity pays for any of those costs, and that's per state law. I like this next snapshot a little bit better. It kind of gives you it does give you a comparison 2020 through 2024. I would point out physician. If that's our halfway point, it's not going to be good at the end.
Yeah.
Of course, that has to do with, several inmates, high cost psychotropic drugs, and then our also high average daily population has an impact on that. Any questions on that? Building maintenance is looking pretty good. Is there much building maintenance coming up, John? Big ones on LEC?
Not planned.
Okay, so doing really good there so far, but that can change in a hurry.
Yes.
It's a big facility. Any questions on that, commissioners?
Yeah, you're not showing any savings on the Medicaid rate, and that's been shown, we've had that in the past, I'm just
Yeah, we did.
wondering.
We did. I was looking for that as you were saying. Yeah,
Yeah, right down there.
yeah, right there.
Where is it?
It's right there.
Underneath the total.
We'll double check to be sure.
I don't think. That's not something that comes in monthly, is it?
There should be some savings from a Medicaid rate because that is a statutory change and that they're supposed to track that for us. ACH.
Mhm.
And report that to us. Maybe they haven't reported it.
Now, the
Double check on
pool,
that.
the pool balance, what is, explain that to me again, the pool balance is
Start out with a $31,000 pool that's included in our contractual amount. So once we meet that pool balance, then we have to pay all of our costs on top of the contract amount. So we've had to pay $23,918 outside of that $31,000 pool balance. So included in the contract, they said, we'll give you this $31,000 for these medical expenses. Once you exceed that, then we got to pay 100% of it. And we've had that forever, not necessarily that amount, but a pool balance like that. Some years we're under, majority of the time we're over. And when you go over, we're responsible for 100% of it.
Yeah, prescription balance is just.
Yeah, you have to raise that, I guess.
Any other questions on any of those reports or any financial questions in general? Of course, we are going to have the budget work session coming up. I should take time to look through those more in depth and have questions. Let us know. We'll be glad to get you some answers. Next, you have Brittany at 9:15.
They won't respond. See what they do anyway.
Hey Clancy, you plan to travel in retirement?
No, only to get where we're gonna land out to Las Vegas. So probably not a lot of travel.
It's not on the bucket list.
Not really, not really. I'm sure we'll do some.
Where's home originally from?
Butler County. Northeast of Andover, 7 miles. Small, non-income producing farm. It wasn't designed to produce income, and it did.
Yeah.
I remember going, I don't remember what year it was, but going down to the turnpike. The Andover tornado was imminent, and the highway patrol pulled everybody off the interstate at that Towanda, it's Towanda bus stop. And I had no idea the mammoth basement that's underneath that. Mammoth, really. It's like a missile site, going down, it's better, there's a lot of people because they're pulling everybody off.
Where was that at?
Towanda, is that Towanda? I think it is.
Yes, that guy's got an exit.
Oh, there's a basement underneath there?
Oh, man.
I hadn't heard about that.
Is it a basement?
Really? That's probably worth the stop.
Well, I don't know that they let you in unless there's a tornado, but
No, that's, I mean, worth the stop that day.
it's like,
Little bonus.
and I'm sure they had, when they designed it,
It was probably for something else.
after all, it's in Kansas. No, they probably thought about it, probably got to put, which I assume the other ones probably have basements.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It
that's
seemed like the
news to me.
staircase is like, are we gonna get to the bottom of this thing?
Of course, now it's pretty much,
Maybe you didn't want to get to the bottom.
pretty much null and void now because they're all peopleless.
It's true. That's
As
true.
of last Monday.
So automated.
Well, it's all by app now, I think.
No, I meant the
You said the rest stop.
rest stop, the what you call it?
Oh, I thought you were talking about KTA.
The
Although they are,
Gates.
apparently they're,
pull off and get food and gas, whatever.
Oh,
The rest
gotcha.
stops. I think it was a Hardee's at that time, and underneath, it's like, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, Hardee's used to be.
Never heard of
all of them.
Didn't know they had a space.
did you still be Hardee's? McDonald's and
Boy, that was
various
Howard
things.
Johnson's.
Mhm.
I worked there one summer.
Or that was probably a Stuckey's.
You see, the temperature yesterday in Vegas was 120.
Yeah, my mother pointed that out to me in my weekend call. Nothing.
In Portland, Oregon, it was 100.
Yeah,
And they've been getting California and even farther up west, they've been getting some brutal weather. And a lot of people in Portland, Oregon don't have air conditioners because they just don't get that because that's where Darnell's from.
Oh, really?
wow.
Okay,
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, here to present this morning the general fund transfer to capital improvement. So in the past, anytime there was cash carryover in the general fund that was left over from the previous year, it was transferred to capital improvement fund. However, over the past few years, especially due to COVID and all those uncertainties, this transfer has not been done and has reflected in our high cash balance. Since it has not been done in the past few years, and with the discussions of facilities and our strategic retreat coming up in September, it is the Budget and Planning Committee's recommendation to transfer $8.9 million to the capital improvement fund. It's not budgeted in the general fund currently, so it may require a budget amendment towards the end of the year. However, we do have the cash on hand. So it is again our recommendation to authorize the transfer from the general fund to the capital improvement fund. Any questions?
And it is the 8.9 million, not the 8
.900.00.
I know.
You really don't want us to fix anything, do you?
AI would have covered that.
So I think we're gonna need that as we go forward, so,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's a lot of money.
That with the federal dollars that we still have and just the capital improvement that we've actually budgeted for. Actually in pretty
We're
good shape.
in pretty good shape.
We're in pretty good shape. I mean, we can do good majority of what we need to do, and the court side of things, that's gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be a tough one,
But I think outside of that, we're in good shape.
yeah, that's just. It's always good to put money aside, that's for sure.
Just think, need to emphasize to the public, you know, how you get here, it's over multiple years of revenues, you know, coming in above where you budgeted expenditures coming in well below where you budgeted. You know, just an example, just because I had Brittany pull these figures, you know, last year for 2023, Public Works actually spent $800,000 less in their 3 Cs than was budgeted. That's a mill, commissioners. And so it's all based on weather conditions because they have to budget in case we have severe storms and weather, but that's how you get there. It's not anything that's done intentionally. You know, it's just how it goes with open positions. Open positions is where we save a lot of money. You can't project that, but you have to budget for them the entire amount of the year. By the time you fill a position, it takes a month at least that a position's vacant. So that's how you get there, and that we haven't done these for several years.
And not to mention for 2021's budget, we held everything flat. That was the budget we worked on in the midst of COVID, and we didn't know that there were going to be federal funds or anything coming through at that
Yeah.
time. So we were basing it off of, we've got to react to this now. So,
Yeah.
as it so happened, everything kind of worked itself back to at least on that end of things, to some kind of normalcy. But and kind of moving forward, we've been pretty cautious. So
That's-
good problem to have.
Yeah,
Well, I'd move to approve the transfer of 8.9 million from the general fund to the capital improvement fund.
I would second that.
Moved and seconded to approve the transfer of 8.9 million.
And I write 2 other things.
General fund to the capital improvement fund. All.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, next we have press conference at 9:30.
Hey, Rich,
Sir.
am I correct? That by and large, ad valorem, even though it's in the general fund, I understand it's in the general fund, whatever amount that is. The bulk of that goes to salaries and benefits. It's not looked at it that way because it's all in the general fund, but
Yeah, I mean,
You look at the money you
you
collect.
could just say, you know, ad valorem equals this, and here's what salary and benefits are, and that's which tells you it's not like we direct ad valorem just for there. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to look. Do you have that off the top of your head, Brittany?
Gary and I actually looked at it a couple weeks ago, and I think it was like 48% of sorry. Actually, it's 50% of salaries is your general fund. And so ad valorem taxes took up, it did pay for most of that. It was closer to 100%.
which means in general, not accurately, but the 8.9 million really didn't come from ad valorem. It had to come from other revenues because the ad valorem.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, that's one huge thing that we've seen as the commissioners know, you know, how much more we've collected in interest income over the last couple of years over what was budgeted, you know, because of what
A
interest
couple of
rate.
years ago, the interest was nothing.
Mhm. Yeah.
For a couple of years.
But one that which benefits us on the income side at this point, but when and if they do go down, where do you make that up at? At valorem.
And that's where we've been at in years past. When the interest rates are down, you make up that difference in ad valorem. And so just something you have to explain at the time, that's one of the things that honestly has made the budget process last couple of years a little easier. That may not always be there.
Because we get all our money, taxes start of the year. And hold on to the year.
And I think that's why this document that you guys produce is so helpful to the public to understand revenue expense side of it. And that's why, as you produce this, you get it in the library, it's on the website, it's like that, people can look at it and understand, okay, this is what I'm paying ad valorem, because I think I've said this before, I don't have a lot of hardware in how you spend like sales tax or something else. It's
No.
At the jail, this prescription, where did they get the prescription?
I believe it's, for some reason, I want to say the company they use right now is Diamond. That's something we're looking at changing to save money and actually not have so many left over when someone leaves, is going with a different vendor. It's actually a vendor that the state just went with. And to say Captain French has done a great job about trying to find little ways to save monies and make things more efficient there. And so that's what we're looking at doing right now.
Because I was saying we're gonna negotiate.
We used to do it
that.
with berries. We used to go to berries, and that was a big to do, switching from a local guy
Oh,
to,
yeah.
that was a tough time, so.
Well, I switched from Walgreens to Candlewood, and that's a great. It's been around for a long time. They're really good. That's the same price.
I think independent pharmacies are going the way of the dodo. They've got to be around.
I agree.
Candlewood's doing a good job. They're real busy constantly.
They're busy because that's a lot of times that's a more effective way to get your script.
Because it's closing some of those stores. Yeah.
Well, because they just randomly close every time. They don't have enough people.
No, just never got a good service there.
I would use Dillon's, but
She's transfers it.
I'd say that because you don't have enough people that's shut down their house. They just see open out, it's easy to catch it.
Right as the press.
Now,
So
these kids over lunch, all the people, they don't have enough.
I use berries and Dunn's. I really like their service. Dunn's, the same group there all the time. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what I used to know. I say they've been there for a long time, but
I can't remember.
now it's a different person every time I go.
I really like berries. Really do.
Yeah, they do a great job of tracking interactions with scripts. They'll catch things that maybe the doctor didn't really see.
I've been going long enough that I know all the pharmacists and their staff, and it's, they know you.
Well, I mean, Candlewood has a capital. Walgreens just say, oh yeah, we're open 7 days a week until 6 o'clock. And it's, whatever it was, but you can't continue. You don't need to have that open.
I just keep seeing more and more ads for online, if you can get everything approved online, they can just ship it to you. And I mean, I don't know how that works for stuff that needs to be like refrigerated or something like that. I don't know how that works. Dry ice, I guess.
They send it in a insulated
Styrofoam.
styrofoam thing. It's about, my son's got some
Really?
styrofoam box about this big. And you put one thing in the middle,
Yeah.
and some metal.
But I got one that's got.
You guys want to go? Oh, yeah, there's not enough. He said, these are stacking up.
Mm.
You use them for like fishing bait or something like you used to do in the old
You
days?
can float,
Okay.
you can float, yeah.
I can
You
understand,
build a dock, he saves enough.
No doubt, no doubt.
But
I understand online if you live in a rural area and you can't get to the farms.
yeah. Here we got enough pharmacists and I had to mix and match a couple of mine because they're in demand and we can't always find them.
Yeah, I wondered how that closure was gonna impact the two here.
Oh.
Haven't seen if they were on the list. I haven't seen if the Walgreens here are on their list.
They were part of the dark store argument.
Well, they're both on there.
Be curious what's gonna go in over where McMillan's vacated the liquor store on
I keep hearing,
Campbell and,
I keep hearing Casey's.
oh, really?
That's what I keep hearing, but I haven't seen anything official.
Yeah, Richmond was talking about other cases there, but.
It was 2 or so years ago and I haven't heard anything else about it, so I don't know. But that includes the property with the, yeah, that includes the property there at the old car wash there too.
Mhm. Yeah, I figured it did.
Yeah, and I don't, that was interesting because I saw a fireworks stand over there over the,
That's when I went to, it was affiliated with our school district up there.
Oh,
It was the FFA and the trap club.
Oh,
And the trap club got first this year. I didn't realize that they had their stuff there. And I knew one of the guys from college. It was one of the parents that's running it. But yeah, it was all Riley County people. Mhm. So it went to a good cause, you know. My friend has 2 daughters in FFA and it's the trap club kids and parents there too running it.
You know, it's like, there's overabundance of fireworks stands.
There is a huge
There
profit
was
margin.
this year.
One block has 3 or 4 of them. I don't,
it wasn't just here, it was everywhere I went, there
Because
was,
there's big money in it.
yeah, I guess so.
In Riley, there's a guy that's has one just in his garage.
Yeah.
He says his folks have a big stand. in Washington, I guess. And so he just brings them down because there's nothing else in town.
Yeah, the one
That's a
young,
little one, but he's got it all. And he's in the fire department, so it's got all the
Wow,
fire
that's
stuff
good.
and everything, all the
the one
security.
young Copeland kid, I can picture him. I can't remember his name. He used to
Charlie.
have one.
Charlotte,
Yeah, Charlie.
he, for a while, he had it all over. He had a bunch of them.
He was a nice kid.
But he ended up having big ones, several
Mhm.
places. I don't know if he still does, but he used to.
Good friend of mine, wish I, he had an uncle who had been in the fireworks business for years, and finally retired, and they had a giant warehouse. And when he retired, the whole family went there and started dividing up stuff. We shot some of those things, and some of those things were not kosher.
The Class A fireworks,
I don't
huh?
know what they were, but I've only run from one firework where you could feel the blast wave, but you know, we're not shooting another one of those.
Tried doing Lake Shawnee fireworks show back in, I don't remember what year it was, 2002, 2003. There's 3 separate 50-foot trailers, just PVC lined up, all done on wire, and then just, you just do them off a board.
Huh.
And one of them blew through the bottom. Yeah, you shook and rattled the trailer. Fortunately, it was on the back end of it. So it was at the front end of it where it was starting, but yeah, you could feel it. It rumbled all the way up through the bank and all the way up through the hill. And you're like, oh, that's not good.
You saw an industrial.
And it was a 2-inch shell. It wasn't one of the big ones either. That's all choreographed to music and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, well, we are at 9:30, so get to hear a downtown update. Yay. I know there's lots going on because I see lots going on.
Yeah,
Okay.
lots is always on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me. Sorry for my missing last time. I actually went to the hospital. I was so sick, you guys. But I'm better. I'm alive. I didn't think I was gonna make it, but here I am.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yes. Okay, so I want to give you guys an update on a Kansas Gas alley project that will impact your alley here. Kansas Gas is being required to enlarge the to that gets connected to the buildings, to your service. And it's not anything that we just have to do what they say when they say. They're on a deadline, they have a time limit. And so beginning on July 15th, we will start with the alleys north of Points. Start first with the Tap House Alley. It's supposed to only take 2 weeks, but we all know about construction projects. So I just want you to be aware. Then we'll move into your alley here. Here, right? And we'll have centralized trash. There will be no deliveries, no vehicular traffic. Pedestrians can walk to and fro because there's not going to be a big cement. They're not going to tear up the cement. They're just going to be boring. But there can be no deliveries. So trash will be suspended. Food, any of that kind of thing has to come to a halt during the length of the project. But you will receive official notification from Kansas Gas, as will the entire district, and you will get lots of information from me. And on our website, downtownmhk.com, downtownmhkconstruction.com, we have a separate website for all these projects that are going on. So check there when you want to know the impact of this specific alley here, and it will impact your where RCPD drops off in behind that fenced area, and also the trash that's kind of adjacent to that.
You said that's gonna take 2 weeks?
That's best, that's weather
It's gonna
dependent.
run right up towards the primary there, and we usually get all our stuff after we route that.
What is the date of that?
August.
That you start getting,
August
August 6th is the
Six.
primary, but
yeah. When do you start getting, are you talking about drop offs, deliveries?
Well, we can take all of our election equipment out through that way, so
When
we
is
have
that?
to
August.
be doing that.
mhm.
Fourth.
August 2nd and 5th. Maybe the 2nd, actually.
Okay. What does that look like
What do you mean? What's it look like?
as far as the logistics of that? Like, how long does it take?
It takes one day.
One day, all day?
It'll take a good half a day,
And do you
usually in the morning.
Okay. If I can get that worked around, who would I need to work with?
Yeah, contact me.
Okay,
Do they use the next morning also, right?
Yeah, for return as well. So that'd be on the 7th,
Morning before and the morning after the election.
because we got to return them as well.
okay,
2 big trucks and 2 big trailers.
okay.
Sorry, you got
It
anything?
still wouldn't be as heavy as the trash.
It's okay. I mean, it's been a weird, there's lots of things we have to work around. I'm not saying that I can
No.
fix it, but
Mhm.
I'll
Starting
certainly
to
try.
worry about.
Pretty sure that's one they're gonna have to probably work around.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but.
Yeah, I mean, they've been great to work with so far, just working around a variety of other things. We have State Street torn up right now, so. I'll get that straightened out and I'll communicate with you, Rich.
I'll try and
Okay.
narrow down the times better for you during the days.
That'd be great. And just clarifications, do you need the entire length of the alley to do that job? Because you.
Yeah, they swing in from that direction and come through here because there are big trailers and
Okay.
trucks. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
something they can back in and out
Okay,
very easily. I imagine they could if they had to, but if
okay,
It'd have to be pretty.
they
good
do
at
that, they'll be blocking traffic out here to back in.
yeah,
Which I did see a truck last week doing that. It was quite interesting for quite a lengthy time.
okay, I'll communicate with you on that, probably tomorrow or so.
Yeah.
On a heartbreaking note, UMI lost our board president. She passed away from a long struggle from cancer. And gosh, it's a tremendous loss to downtown. Her name is Donna Shealy. She was the bank president of United Bank and Trust. She was our board president. She was a treasurer at one point for DMI. She was the chair of the Downtown Business Improvement District. She was our fairy godmother. She was behind the Business of the Month program. Just loved to sprinkle love on small businesses and take them flowers and coffee and cookies and all the fun things. It's a tremendous loss. I've never met another person who just absolutely loved this small business community. And she was a mentor for me, both personally and professionally. So it's personally a big loss for me. But we will remember her through art because she loved that the most. And that's where a lot of the money that UBT gave to us went into our arts and culture program, and we'll be doing something regarding that regard. Coming up on July 18th is Third Thursday, and we've been really expanding this program this year to have events within events. And this month we're having plein air on points. And if you don't know what that is, plein air simply means outdoor painting. So we have, I believe, 20 artists signed up to participate, and they'll be scattered in various locations. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a beautiful county courthouse and courtyard painting, or 2 or 3 even, because of where we have to put our artists in various locations on points. This is a juried competition with a $500 award. So that we'll be using the sidewalk just kind of in front of the county courthouse to be for the competition portion, where the judges walk around and look at what they've done. And the winner will be chosen, and DMI is going to be the first recipient of one of those paintings. So maybe it'll be a courthouse, you never know. We have 22 artists, entertainers, and performers coming to Third Thursday. If you were around the first 2, May and June, it's been awesome turnout. It's also been awesome weather. So we're hoping more awesome weather so that we get a great turnout. It's been packed on the streets. Really, really been excited about that.
You moved that time frame, wasn't it May to October, and it's now June to November?
Now it's May to October.
May to October.
Yeah. We skipped May last year.
Gotcha.
But we decided that the patrons decided they wanted as many of them as they could get, so we just added another month. So yeah, it's been great. And then our kind of a born out of dog days of summer, back when Aggieville and downtown would have these epically huge sidewalk sales. We've continued to do that. They're not epically huge, but our retailers, we have 27 of them. They're all excited. They're going to be on the sidewalks the 18th, 19th, and 20th. The 18th is Third Thursday, so their sale will go 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So an all-day sale, come out, the public to come out and support local business. Or getting rid of their summer merchandise, and there'll be something for everyone, I'm sure. That's my report.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Gina.
Yep, I'll get back with you, Rich.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Ellerman with Public Works. And I have a structure replacement project to announce. The structure is on Kansas Avenue, between 3/10 of a mile west of Main Street, in the city of Riley. Kansas Avenue will be closed through traffic during construction from West Street to the intersection of Crooked Creek Road. Project expected to be completed Wednesday, July 24th, weather permitting. And it starts Monday, the 15th.
Okay.
Thank you.
15th to when? 24th, 24th.
I think I already have 2, so more the merrier. Okay.
I will too.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Lego, Public Information Officer. First, reporting on the first week of changed office hours for the Riley County Office Building. By and large, Pretty good, mostly neutral from what I've heard. The treasurer's office had several visits before 8 o'clock, and they got a lot of, or they had some feedback from customers that they appreciated being able to come in early. Friday, they didn't have a lot of traffic in general. They got feedback that people kind of assumed we were closed Friday, so it was quiet, maybe not the best Friday to take measurement, but they are tracking the number of customers that come in before 8. And then comparing that to data they had previously for Friday afternoon customers, so we'll have some numbers to compare at the end of the experiment. Planning and Development said no concerns reported, but they've also had no early customers in the first week. Register of Deeds is having trouble with staffing. Amy reported that 7:30 was cumbersome. They have scheduling issues.
Yes, ma'am.
Half of their staff cannot be there at 7:30, so they kind of try to shift. They struggle to get
Okay.
things covered. And then,
Okay, thank you. Bye.
pardon me, that she's having either to authorize overtime or try to figure out shooters for that, and hasn't been great. She also has trouble with the mail, which she said the mail used to get here reliably by 10 and now sometimes doesn't even get here by 5, but that has nothing to do with us necessarily, but. And then IT said all of their staff are on 410s except one person, so the change didn't impact them at all. Clerk's office, we haven't had any trouble with staffing. I don't know that we've had a lot of early customers, but not that I have noticed, but I'm tucked in the back. So it's been fine for me, but that's the report on that so far, first week. Trying to share information on Facebook and just remind people we've got signs on the doors. And then we unlocked that passcode protected door on the back side. Julie came and did that today, so you no longer need a passcode to get between this building and that building. Ease of use for customers who might be visiting this building to go to elections and then have to go back. So that will lock at 5 o'clock now instead of being locked all day. And then just really quick, the 21st annual Manhattan Battle of the Badges blood drive is taking place Thursday, July 11th from noon to 6 p.m. and Friday, July 12th from 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's at St. Thomas More Church, located at 2900 Kimball Avenue here in Manhattan. All presenting donors will receive a Battle of the Badges t-shirt while supplies last. And this is just a friendly competition between emergency responders in Manhattan to see who can drum up the most business and get the most pints of blood donated during those 2 days. Last year, Riley County Police got the trophy. Before that, it was Manhattan Fire. So EMS is in it to win it. Thank you very much.
Next commissioner, you have Mr. Holm. He had to run upstairs. For a street issue. He should be right back.
Okay. The executive session.
He did not. I think he did not. Okay, thank you.
I had the same ball last night.
No,
Kind of bleh.
yeah, that's never fun.
I don't know why. It was kind of, it seemed really good until I had to get up at 5.
Shocker. He said you challenge it, so I must have to give you a shot.
Yeah.
He said, well, let me show you.
Stars.
I'm not scarred, so you got it there. Oh, really? Yeah.
I'm not saying it. President, everything. You know, it's not.
What's that hanging above you outside the window there, John? Is that an umbrella?
That's the film from the last.
Window. Timely question.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as I said it.
Like they're testing or something off the box.
But other than that, they're fine.
Okay.
I had to tell myself to quit looking at that stuff. That way I don't find anything wrong with it.
Okay.
I am here. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry I had to step away, computer problem. I didn't want to interfere with the entire organization's payroll management process.
You had to solve a computer problem?
No, I had to do my tiny part again because the system was not accepting something it should have accepted. It's my interpretation. But
Well, I was gonna say, we just wait till they come out again in December, but it's kind of too late now. So.
why not? Commissioners Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, thank you for your patience. I had to step away there and deal with a computer issue. As usual, this is a snapshot, items during the most recent reporting period. Due to the nature of the holiday, the next one you see next week will be involve more time. But this is just a kind of a glimpse as to those items that we've been working on in the department that I've been directly involved in one way or another. And we again do leave some historical information there on some items. I know you want to, at your request, started doing a report for 6 months, but we do leave some on here for historical value because they provide context to issues that may come up again. That's a judgment on my part. Only time will tell, but I guess correct. Let's see. But I'm confident that those items that we do remove and then we have to revisit, we won't have to start from scratch. We'll be able to go back and reconstruct where we were. Anything from the old paper files, but we also keep electronic copies of these. To be able to go back and pick up on a given project that had been put to rest in some time in the past and now needs to be dealt with. Do you have questions on anything that's on the report at this time? I'd be glad to answer it. And as always, if you see something that you do have a question on, never hesitate to check in individually. I'm glad to tell you where a given item is standing, bring you up to speed. I know you're not a shy bunch and you will do so. Continue to check in if you have questions. Does the board have anything else? I do not even thank you.
Thanks, Clancy. Next commissioner, you have Don Ellerman at 10.
Thanks for your help.
You saw that you were on.
I have no idea.
Well, who knows? It's another mystery of the system. Thanks. Would not have been a good way to.
Although it might be time to start talking about October again. We have to flip with somebody.
Advice about taking time off.
I'm pretty sure.
You might just go back.
I'll fall right in with AUSA and
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
That's no
I'm
problem.
not for sure yet.
That's no problem.
Get the details on it, but
Easy enough to do.
Maybe next month we'll have somebody.
yeah,
From an advice.
I'm bringing Rich in to talk about elections so he can steal some of my time.
Could get interesting.
Yeah.
Thought about bringing in Parker. Him
Bringing him into what?
for in focus next month.
Oh, yeah.
Next month.
It's time.
It's, you
Oh.
know, break him in on it.
Absolutely.
There you go.
No, he's responsible for 45 minutes of the hour.
Yeah. I'll just answer questions, the legal ones in particular.
But the thing is, don't do it till you get there and say, well, here's Mr. Parker, our new deputy county counselor. He has the next 45 minutes.
And I was thinking about it too. I'm like, what am I gonna do with an hour? I'm gonna get on there. It's like, it just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it just
I always
goes.
make a list
Yeah.
and you'll get through it.
Yeah,
They're pretty good about asking good questions.
yeah. After they worked with you for a while, they kind of know.
Well, I see.
But we got a new guy tomorrow.
Yeah, AJ. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's what the ad in the paper.
Yeah.
Came in, still as the ad for music director.
Should I run right? Is tomorrow when he's at?
No, it's next month.
Next month. Ah, I hate for him to have that much notice.
Don't tell him.
You don't have to tell him.
Well, it's kind of,
Well said.
it's kind of out there now.
Talked to Brandon and Brandon the other day.
I ran into him a week and a half ago.
New job, getting used to the new job.
How's he doing?
Well, enjoying it.
I really liked him.
He said, first week was training, they had a whole bunch of training tapes and different things, and he'd started doing a few reports, but.
That's my first focus. I guess I did with Dave Lewis, and then
Oh, did
he was still kind of working into that fray.
See how the road now and stuff.
He hasn't yet. He's still getting, and he said there's a bunch of stuff, equipment that they're shipping to him, he hadn't gotten yet to do. To get his
Job.
setup, and it's got, he did it. He's got some stuff, but still waiting on some.
Wow. Hope he does well.
He's a big thing is he's enjoying having to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get in there.
Yeah.
So I can get up at a regular time.
I'm an early riser, but that is early.
That's really hard to get to work, yeah.
I don't have a problem at 5. I used to get up at 4:30.
What time I get up?
4.
Mhm.
Probably go to bed at 8 then.
I wish. Sometimes I don't even sleep.
No, goodness.
Yeah,
Ready?
yeah. Fire away.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Ellerman, Public Works. I'm gonna start with my monthly update. Winkler Mills and Kitten Creek, we're still looking at right of ways and permitting on a couple of those. Hopefully we get those bid out here by the end of the year. Parallel Road has started. I think they put up traffic control on that around July 1st or that probably last week on Monday. That 80 working days on that, and either construction has that project. Parks staff is fully staffed, has 3 seasonal working, getting caught up on mowing, working their way through landscape beds. Next few weeks, this month is going to be focused quite a bit on the fair. Set up, and I think we have a meeting tomorrow with Extension and Parks Group. For expectations on how we work things out there. David and I have been asked to attend a meeting with the Marcia Roselle. And a couple that are working on this downtown riverfront project.
Really?
Mm.
I was wondering
So
who took
I
that
haven't
meeting.
heard a whole lot from it for a while, so I think hopefully they're coming in to tell us what they should. I know some of it, I have no expectations of what I think I know it's gonna go, other than that topic. So we'll see, that's the 29th. We set up a meeting with her and Andersons. Two guys named Andersons, not related. So
Is it Phil Anderson? Cause he was in charge of that before.
I think that's one of the names.
Yeah, Phil Anderson.
You see, so, cause I went to a few of those project meetings, so.
Yeah, it's kind of, you guys assigned David to attend to them or asked David to attend.
Okay.
Now he's been when they've had any meetings, so I don't think the whole lot's come out of any of them, so. We'll find out on the 29th. That is, operations crew. Had spent some time cleaning up debris from storms, mainly pulling. Tree limbs and stuff out of creeks in front of culverts to make sure culverts are flowing. Patching asphalt, patching dirt roads or gravel roads. I wrote this with the intention of completing our sealing project. It should have been done last week. We have 1,600 gallons left to spray. Probably about a quarter mile total of roadway. We had an issue with the truck. We sent our distributor truck up to Kansas City to get some oil. Drove it where he shouldn't have, and flooded the engine and destroyed our engine in the truck. And so we're figuring out what we can do with it. Looking at getting ready to ask other counties if they have a distributor to let us borrow for 1,600 gallons. And then we're gonna reboot and figure out the options we have are buying another distributor and doing this on our own, or maybe contracting our little bit of sealing we do every year out. There's a handful of companies around throughout the state that'll do that. Whether that's cost effective or not, or at least reasonable, I'm not sure yet here. I have done that in the past, contract sealing out to outside agency. It frees up county crews to do other things that they can do that need to be done. So that's something we'll look at for next year for sure. Precast box, we just announced the one on Kansas Avenue being starting next Monday. They've been out there a couple times, cut the asphalt, getting ready to shut the road down on the 15th and take it out, and then replace asphalt before they open it back up. Since we had some moisture, guys have been out grading roads. We have some scales at the transfer station. I think that happens next weekend. Or I think that was on the schedule for next weekend. We've got some issues with the floor. Evan's been trying to put some project together to replace the tipping floor. They wore it down to rebars exposed. And so that makes it difficult it causes more damage to equipment, and the chutes are in bad shape. So we might be doing some patching with Alvin's crews or Road and Bridge crews, and hopefully extend that a few more years and then have a big project to do, set that up to do. We are all trained up on our CDL. Both of our drivers have gotten their license now, and we're good to go. So open positions. We've interviewed for custodian. We've made an offer, have not heard from that person yet. We have a handful of candidates for facility tech or a building maintenance crew. And we'll start interviews as soon, hopefully this week, get some in. And today on the agenda is to ask for the utility tech. Evan's been working a lot on permitting and stuff for, and funding. For the lagoon project, we have a cultural study we need to get done and, environmental. And then the application part of KDHE, it's, state revolving loan fund. Or any of the extra possible increase in costs that are covered by the grants that will be there. Fourth floor is all but complete. We have a few major, we have some issues with water. It seems to find places and new places after we moved in that decide to come inside and not stay outside. Looks like the roofers were up there this morning. Putting new inserts in all the drains, making sure those are not the issue. There's some places up there that needed to be patched and they were gonna look at that, patch that. And then we found another spot we'd asked them to look at. So hopefully we'll hear more that maybe goes away today. I hope. Crossing fingers, not wood and all that good stuff. And the other one is HVAC system, whether it's balancing the new system or something else, we've got to get that figured out too. Gina talked to you about the alley project. I want to ask you about, or have you start thinking about, there's a spot in this alley between the two buildings that had a dip and crack in it.
I saw that.
It was already there, but our work on the roof and for the fourth floor did not help it any. I guess I would like to go ask or talk to McCullough and Wareham about us replacing that piece of concrete in there. We're looking at a couple $1,000, $3,000 or so for concrete. Because there's a hole underneath, so filling that hole and making sure it's filled back up.
I think that would be a good idea because it looks pretty deep there and just for liability's sake.
But I mean, we have that argument. I don't want to have the argument. I think we didn't help it any. We didn't cause it, but we didn't help it. So I'd like to go in and fix that and be good neighbors, as well as come up on the side here at the end of the building where there's no grass and replace grass in that area. At the end of the walk towards the other building, some of it was already there, but we didn't help it with the mason project or cutting a hole. That work up there. So I'd like to
I would
do
suggest
that.
not doing that right now, though, but maybe.
No, I think all of it, we're gonna probably do this fall. Alan can't get to the concrete anyway until after he's done with this box for sure. And I think fall works best for everything. I don't want to be in the way of the gas work either. Scales, I think that this weekend. We should be winding down on the lead and copper surveys. If you hadn't seen some of that request through the city, that's the same thing that they're doing here. KDHE EPA want to know what's going on, everybody's services are. And I think at some point they may have money to help with putting it back to some other stuff at some point later on. I don't know how you're gonna fix every residence, and if it's even our responsibility to fix the resident service lines. But that's what that is all about. I've got a couple speed studies that I need to bring to you. One of them at the East Riley city limits on Kansas Avenue, and the other one down the Tabor Valley Road. And I'll get those to you here in the next couple of weeks. Any questions about that? Okay, my next item is utility tech position. The person we had in it was right at about 2 years. First time we've had anybody. It was a new position then. Well, not a new, I transferred or got rid of one position to make this one possible. He decided he wanted to go back into operating equipment and went to the gravel crew. opening that we had. So now I have a utility tech position. This person is responsible for taking the water samples. We have daily fluorine samples to take, monthly coliform test. I call it something else in the office. So I want to make sure I didn't call it something wrong. So they read meters once a month. They do he's been doing a lot of work, lift stations, and just learning they were learning how to do that. This position will ultimately take over all of our benefit districts' responsibilities, operating responsibilities. Right now, it's just Kanza and Bowman Bottom Water. So mainly of those water, he's been helping out in Terra Heights and Deep Creek, the sewer system too. But once we get the lagoons, and then maybe we can move into University Park also, which in about a year and a half. Part of the problem, I think, with this guy, why the guy left, was the 7 days a week you have to go out and take a sample of chlorine samples. That gets old. We've got some plans to schedule the engineering techs to help, maybe somebody else to help spread that weekend duties to somebody else instead of somebody have to work 7 days a week. So that's that position, and if we want to do this on our own, keep the operating part of it, then we need this position. I'm afraid if we try to go back and contract with an operator, we don't have a whole lot to choose from. We've had difficulties, in the past of not having but the one bidder, and anymore it's harder and harder to find somebody to do that. This position will have to be certified in the water and wastewater, 2 certifications through KDHE, and Kansas Rural Water helps us get those. I don't know, we'll have somebody that has it when they come in, or we can make sure they get them within a year or two that we need them to have.
Well, I would make a motion to approve. Oh,
Sean,
Yes.
this position would help with Keats as well, would it not, in the
It will
future?
be.
I just wanted to point that out.
Possibility when Keats comes.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just don't count.
Well, I mean, with Keats and University Park, I might be coming back to add another person to this unit. I'm working out a way that I can do that with the already a lot of positions I have and not having to add a new position. But then it's a good possibility that has to happen, or will need to happen.
Well, you won't need the daily chlorine test.
Not there, but
Not there,
I
but
still need them for the other,
other ones.
all the others, yes.
sometimes stop while you're ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was almost too much information.
But I don't want to be awesome. I never.
It depends. You want to be scolded later?
Yeah.
What you want now?
Hired 6 of them.
Which you know, yeah.
Anything else? Then I'd make a motion to approve filling of the Public Works Utility Technician position.
Second. It's been moved and approved to fill the Public Works Utility Technician position. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And the last item on here is just bring this back as discussion, windows in this building here. I think I've counted, whether I'm missing 1 or 2, and the Lanco and Icon had counted 77 windows remaining in this building to replace. And I'm not sure whether they counted the two doors. I did, so I think we're all right. The two doors there.
That door and that door, or that
These
door
two.
and that door, okay.
Yeah.
It would be
Well,
the
typically, that's
exterior
not a
ones.
door.
This one could be.
Well, legally it is a door, but
Could we replace that with a window and fill in like the rest of it?
Does it actually work as a door?
well, I mean, I think if you attempted to use it as a door, yeah, it could, but
It just lets in a lot of dirt, air now,
Water.
water.
has let water in before.
Yeah, I've seen a river come in there through there before.
Could we make that a window like these are?
Well, that's something, well, that's part of the conversation is I think if we were going to go with a big project like this, I'd like to have architect consultant put together some bid documents on that, and that would be part of that is to ask that of the Historic Society if they would allow that to happen, to match the ones up front instead of putting doors back in.
Now, this one is a good exit, but it's old, needs to be.
And so we have some time to think about how we want to handle those. But I know you had brought it up before, and I wasn't really a thought other than replacing what was there and having a number to do that. There's also the door on the second floor that is rusted pretty bad and leaks really well. In good rains, that's a little more expensive probably project than I thought, because the whole frame has to come out of that one and be replaced. Replacing your door in your office there that was a $6,500 estimate to do. And that's not including the frame, that was just door and hardware.
Does that fire escape door on the second, does that need to be used? Do we use that as a fire escape? Or is there another one on there?
There's not another one on the second floor.
If you needed it bad enough, you'd use it.
Well, no, but I'm just wondering if there's another exit.
I'm thinking that's the third floor, it's got the roof patio thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's the escape part for the second floor.
I think we
Too much to get
should know where we're at, if I can put together so we can. It says what, it would take 2.5 months to.
So we're looking at putting specs together a month or so, maybe less, a month to bid. By the time you take bids and tabulate and approve them, it's another month and then maybe another couple of months for a contractor to come in here and schedule it in. I think it was 10 weeks for the windows upstairs.
Let's start to finish.
I think just to get them.
Delivery.
Oh.
That's for 2 windows.
4.
1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4,
I'm saying.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the hallway.
That's all, oh, yeah, I expect it, yeah, that's all it looks like. Yeah, to get this many more, it'll take a while. So it'd probably be spring before they're ready to put them in. I'm gonna try to do the winter.
Looks like winter.
Depends on how fast we get on it and what you want to do. It could be a winter project. I would hope not, but
Yeah. Oh, these don't keep out much with the cold anyway. An opening.
no,
Wouldn't be
I mean,
much different.
you guys did talk about as each floor, each places get remodeled to do the windows at that time too. We don't have a plan for that yet. It's come September before we might have some kind of a plan for that.
I don't see that happening quickly, plan or no plan. That's why I just say, with.
It's not like we're gonna rearrange windows if
You're not
No,
gonna
we do anything.
And I think we've got this,
Historical wouldn't last
Yeah.
anyway,
I think we've come to the conclusion that we're going to use this building. We just don't know what we're doing with it internally, and windows aren't gonna get any cheaper. The impact from inefficiency isn't gonna get any cheaper. It's just best to get it done now while we have available funds, particularly federal funds. I think that you could slide over into it if we needed to, because we've got to use those up before the end of the year anyway. Might be a good way to expend those.
Yes,
Might-
that's true.
That'll be used up till the end of 2026.
But it's got to be.
It's-
slotted or something.
And we've got more than enough allocated already.
We're wanting to go ahead and work with an architect, get it going.
Sure, let's get this figured out.
And, we can move to approve it. They find an work with an architect to, for one new replacement project on this building.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded, as the recommended architect be used to put together specifications and bid documents to replace the windows in the CPE building. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, John. Next, commissioners at 10:35, you have Julie Gibbs.
Yeah. I got one.
Be amazed at how they change the looks of this building. You get.
Oh, yeah, look, I was.
On the exterior,
I was looking around at it over the weekend and how next to,
windows, new windows, such a difference on the facility,
oh, yeah.
even a home.
We get rid of these blinds in here, the tinting or something on. These blinds must be 30 years old, maybe. They're really old. I've been opening them. It's really nice.
Like say you use frost at the bottom.
Just for saying, this doesn't get really any sun on this side, this side.
That place is just a beehive of activity.
Yeah, windows are. I bet if we get the utility bill difference between what happens.
I hope in the course of time, they'll maybe not pay for themselves outright.
Oh, I bet they would, you know.
But they'll come close.
Yeah, that's gotta be super expensive on those windows.
Well, some of it, significance. People use that to get to their property, like this guy. I think just started to come through the light. He was a registered. Right. I did. That we don't know. How to fix it. Let's go to public.
What's your name?
Well, I don't know exactly what he's asking. I just want to know what we were talking about. I don't know if they're about this one. Right, we have, I mean, last night was good. Well, we didn't. That's what you're having. I don't think we have. No, I'm talking about that. If it was with the whole group or just sort of playing. Share. They did. Yeah. I'm not crying about it. Who doesn't? Prior. It's not useful. Yeah. Dies here. Years older. I think I hate here. There's people. Really. Oh, this is the one that goes way down. Oh, yeah. He's asking. See you stop by the shop somewhere. I just wanted.
Yeah, I think that's my final visit. Not because there's anything wrong.
There's lots of good stuff.
Some of it will be useful, some of the paint. There's a couple. High out of my wife's hands, the paint from it, that she's done to do some of the upgrades. You know, people can really use it. And let's look at the next over.
So he's not technically.
I was voted down.
Didn't use it.
I brought what I could.
We get folks in there every morning. He owns it. He owns all of it.
Yeah.
Stuff like to drop off.
Oh, that's a great service.
Drive around there. And it's just probably in the background.
I mean, I know a lot of people know about it, but there's, I'm sure just as many who don't.
Right. I mean. Let's
It's kind of thing that
I'm big like the cake.
Vivian might be interested if she hasn't done already, some kind of a, when she goes around, when she needs a story like that. I think it'd be good to talk about people on social media.
It really helps some folks kind of get the structure and all. Well, you know, get a few items there.
Yeah, as expensive as paint is,
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
But wasn't this the one that?
Because of course, he's, your guy out there is really good.
Justin.
Just
I get
drawing a
somebody
blank on
else
top.
on his lunch. He's a good person.
I did warn him, he wouldn't see me.
I
I
warned
warned him, he wouldn't see me early in the morning, because I've been pulling in about 7:15.
You did get there early.
Back here. So it's on the way, kind of, in a big loop.
You can, 3 streets, you can just drop stuff.
Oh, I know, he told me that, but I don't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to follow the rules.
Well, those are the rules.
I know. It just didn't feel right to just leave stuff. I mean, I've left one container, just a little bit of an old container for gasoline. Just leave it sitting here.
Well, people really like the convenience of being in.
Sure. Yeah. I just got to zero it in on the hours. So.
You know, we do charge a bit of space and I have not, I haven't had one business take advantage of truck stuff like that. I think the last one was they haven't had them for nice. We did one morning get a couple of pressurized cylinders that had pesticide in them. And they were about $1,500 a piece to get rid of. We got a grant to be able to get rid of.
Just came on my.
Yes, yeah, that was on my Facebook memories this morning too.
Compensation.
Yeah. Down here, Brian, our
So.
deputy from the attorney, he just wanted to go into Amsterdam this week. And got to see it.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm jealous. You too. There's tickets to Mercedes Convention this week. $4 $400. And I was like, oh. Next week. Yeah, good work.
We get chances.
That's
You know.
they're in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's even a pretty easy color.
Yeah.
Right.
What? It's one of you.
I mean, it's. That's not to get rich. That I nobody else. No, I'm not. But yeah. It was not just.
Yeah.
Everybody had 5 rooms. Or not 5. You know what it's not affecting your health. Eventually.
Yeah.
We don't know, I know. So it's say.
I haven't forgot about signing up for the fair. Yeah, Justin and I are gonna say. Yeah, kind of, that's.
Oh, you know, she's not. I'm sure you're trying to talk to me. So they.
The machine doesn't work out there. Stole my $2, stole $2.
It did.
No.
Yeah.
See how profitable they are?
Well, I don't even.
I kept pushing the button to send my money back. They won't return your money if you don't pay it. It's just ridiculous.
They returned mine.
Push the button, push the button.
Oh.
It said select the ad, put in $2. I put in $2. Select the
I
item.
tried to use the other day for.
Which machine is it?
I tried kicking it too. It didn't work.
Any machine.
Oh, right in.
Yeah, it's all here.
Yeah, I didn't know if that's where you got it, because we often go over to the one in the office building.
Well, usually this one will work. I don't use it.
Usually it might be an exaggeration.
Well, maybe.
Occasionally. Occasionally it works.
Sure, want to trip down memory lane, get one of their 1972 Kit Kat bars.
I didn't keep it.
It's a good year
It is.
for wine.
Yeah, that's great for candy. Okay, that's a little exaggerated.
In bourbon.
Yeah.
Costs a little bit, but yeah. Not the, that's a few.
Wild.
I wanted it was a little.
72 for you.
Just wanted a little.
Oh, for vehicles. Yeah.
I used that for this last year of the strong.
No power.
Okay, we're at 10:35, so. We'll need a motion too, please.
Okay, I'll make a motion to recess as Board of County Commissioners and reconvene as a Board of County Health.
Second.
We moved to seconded to recess as the Board of County Commission and reconvene as the Board of County Hub. All in favor? Aye.
Right, good morning, Commissioners. Julie Gibbs with the Health Department. I'm joined by Heather Ritchie, our Child Care Licensing Supervisor. Here at the request of Commissioner McKinley to update you on the series of emails that took place last week. We were a little surprised to get the first email since we had not received a complaint from the entity in question. So we did a little further digging and as laid by Derek's email last week that we should have received. Anna was our specialist that was assigned to that entity and she did a nice job and really was working hard to answer all of their questions since they're a new organization that's going into childcare. She wanted to make sure that they were ready to go well within 30 days of the inspection process. And so we've hopefully addressed a lot of those concerns with that certain entity, but I know there's been other feedback and concerns that you've had as well. So I brought Heather in to explain the initial inspection process and to answer any questions that you might have on that. Good morning, Heather Ritchie.
So I wanted to just show you that we have a policy and procedure manual that we are given by KDH. Very detailed. And this is our guide that we use every day. So, yeah, we do have 30 days. So for instance, with this facility, we started this process back in January, working with them on having a fire marshal inspection, all those pieces that they needed to have for their application. When they did send their application in, it was incomplete. So then there was, that went back to the facility needing more information. And then they, KDHE sent them a complete letter on, I think it was June 17th. And then at that point, they issued the initial survey for us to go out. We had heard at that time that new regs were coming into effect on June 28th. And so we thought, hey, let's hold off for just a minute because the new regs will actually benefit the center. They're going to be able to add more children to their license. If we waited, they wouldn't have to amend their license. So once those new regs come into effect, anyone that wants to use them has to amend their license. So there's not going to be any like grandfathering in. So we thought, okay, let's try to make this an easy process for them. So they're not having to amend. Once we found out the week before last, it was Thursday. I don't remember the date, but we had more training with KDHE on the new regs. And they let us know at that time that they would not be out until August 2nd. So they have to wait for the registry and then the 15 days after that. So August 2nd, new regs are coming out. So that's when we started looking at the process of what days we could go out to complete that initial survey. We hadn't reached out to them yet. We were planning to on Monday. And then that email came along. So we do have our initial scheduled with them on July 9th. We did offer to do it last week and they said they'd rather do it this week. So that's kind of where we're at. If you have any questions, I can answer.
Like I think we just got this and I wanted to hear.
This is just
both sides of the story.
to me, this is just a prime example of what the actual overall issue is, and no offense, but I mean, it's just bureaucracy at work, constant bureaucracy at work here. We have a childcare problem, not just in the state, but just in general, and we just keep finding ways to trip ourselves up along the way. I'm like I said, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but this is a great example of that. So we're in the middle of a process, then grandfather these people in and then let the regulations change for everybody else, but don't change it on top of them when you're trying to get something to work. And they're trying to provide quality childcare and a large amount of childcare, particularly on the county side, that we're losing childcare. And I just don't see how we're winning here. And this isn't the only conversation I've had amongst people and the area that we're responsible for. So I'm sorry for the frustration, but it's frustrating to hear that. It's frustrating not to be able to provide anything back when it's one of our number one challenges that we're faced with.
Right.
Yeah,
It's frustrating for us too.
I'm sure it is. No, I'm sure it is.
I have a question. Did you communicate all the reasons for delaying these things back to the childcare provider?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, you guys might have not gotten a timeline. I know Commissioner Ford got it. So we could forward that on to you. We put a timeline together, sent that to KDHE, and then KDHE sent that back out with his reply to everyone. Yeah, we've been, like I said, we've been in constant contact with them since January, and Anna had talked to them.
The provider.
We've even been in a meeting with them the week before last, and they actually stated they were glad we were waiting. So
The challenge is between the state and the local entities, we've got to find a streamlined process. And I get the safety part of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that shouldn't be part of it. You got to find a streamway process to make this work instead of constantly trying to change it midstream, constantly trying to not communicate amongst the entities that are trying to do this. And then we come up on the short end of it. And the one thing that we actually need, we can't get to it because it takes 6 or 7 months worth of effort from everybody, time, effort, resources, so on and so forth. And we get absolutely nowhere. And to my knowledge, they're having a ribbon cutting or something on the 18th for this facility, and it's not technically even opening. that correct?
I mean, it kind of just depends on our inspection tomorrow. I mean, if they're in compliance tomorrow, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to
Okay, okay.
open. So, and basically an initial with a center, they don't have kids in care yet.
Right.
They don't have a license, so we're just measuring the rooms just to see how many kids are gonna be able to fit in there, and then just going over that survey. Unless there's any big red flags tomorrow, I don't foresee, I mean, KDHE knows when they're wanting to open, so usually they'll try to work with that facility. So.
It's just amazing that it takes this long. This is
It
what
did
you
take a
said.
little, I mean, because this started in January when that other, the center that was there before closed. But there's also the process of them buying it.
Sure,
So
and
that took a little longer.
I had that conversation
They were-
with
yeah,
one of the
First
board
offer
members.
was denied and then, so.
And we've gone through several different hoops and ropes through this process, but it isn't the first time I've heard from people that are trying to go through the licensing system is a real challenge. And that's the worst thing that we should be doing at this point in time, in my opinion. And it's not just an issue here. I think KDHE, everybody else really needs to work together along with the legislature to find a process that's streamlined, that provides safety and security and everything else that needs to be involved in that, but works a little bit more effectively and efficiently so that we can get some of these places open and get them working and get them providing childcare, because we have to have it. We just do.
It also sounds like the state had told you they were gonna have something, and then 2 days before, oh, it's gonna be 2 months before we actually get it.
Yeah,
which
and that's,
I-
yeah.
I-
we need
That's
to
not
get
sure,
those
that's
Yeah.
the state
Yeah.
dragging their feet on stuff, so. And,
Yeah.
and you said you met with them and they understood it, but then a third party gets involved and.
Yeah.
Sends up.
Yeah.
Fire alarms, but.
So we were a little surprised to see that email, so, yeah. But regardless.
Like I said, you.
I mean, and if you look at our timeline, which I'll show you, I mean, I think it's long, my team's not lazy.
I have a hard
so.
copy of that.
We're working, we work hard every day, so.
Well, and the fact that the state keeps telling us to cover other counties because we do a good job. Tells me something.
But, you know, when one county is actually providing that for everybody else, we have to provide the resources and the accommodations to accomplish that. And there's challenges with that too, when we have the same need in our own county. So that's gotta be part of that dialogue discussion of how to do that fair and properly too. And I'm not saying the other counties aren't deserving, I'm not saying that, but that's part of the challenge and issue that we have here that's not being addressed properly, quite honestly.
Just wanted to hear what was really going on instead of what we were told.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've heard, and Kenny talking about it before, but they're complaining, I think, well, about a different county. I said, well, they weren't required, they weren't doing it right, that's why we're doing it now.
Yeah, I had a conversation with him last week as well, and kind of the same thing, try to educate a little bit more.
But I think it's important to have that conversation with legislators at this point in time, because I think they are only hearing the one side of it, and we need to hear the other side of it, where you guys are struggling in this process of trying to provide that too, so that they understand that they need to work with the state entities from both the legislative and executive side to figure out a way to make that work, so it works for all of us.
Well, yeah, and I don't think the legislators always understand our processes and KDHE reviews all of our work. So
Yeah.
we're not out here running willy-nilly
Yeah.
and citing providers for stuff that we're not supposed to be. I mean, we had them take stuff off our NLSS. I mean, that's the nature of the beast, but yeah, we're in constant contact with them all the time if we think we should cite something or not, so.
Okay, well, that's,
Thank you for bringing.
yeah, actually, I
Thank you.
Understand all what's going on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
okay. On to the budget.
So. I'll make a motion. Oh, yeah. I move to recess as excuse me, recess as the Board of Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
I'll second that.
Then moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Health and then reconvene as the Board of County Commission. All in favor? Aye.
Good morning, Commissioners, Brittany Phillips, Budget Finance Officer. I printed those off because the economic development got covered up in the presentation, so I just wanted you to have hard copies. So with the changes that we made last Monday, and I emailed all of you as well, because I found an error on my part, so that actually puts us $292,321 below revenue neutral. And that includes COLA, that as the new and expanded position, which the only one that has not had a decision made on it yet is the HR assistant position, and I have added in the planning and development position into their line, so that includes all of that.
No, I thought we approved the HR, but not the.
No. You approved planning and development, you denied county attorney, and you tabled HR assistant.
Oh, okay. I was thinking just the. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Rich Barbarella, County Clerk. Just gonna ask if the board has any questions, because I know there was some dialogue last time about uncertainty, not quite sure about the HR assistant position. I can tell you, as far as workload, the position is needed. If you don't approve it, it keeps expenditures lower. And it isn't a matter of, it never was a matter of, does the county have the money or not? It's based on the workload. And so it truly is needed. We do have a temporary, and as the commission knows, we said we will get rid of the temporary position if the board will allow us to go full-time in this position. Never has been totally about the money. The money is always something we think about, but it's more so the workload with the size of an organization that we are. And you as commissioners, as I say, when you ask information from our offices, generally has to do with finance or personnel and human resources, and you see how much both of those subject matters are before the board every day. And I think, and unfortunately, everyone blames it on COVID, but it just has seemed since COVID that personnel, as far as turnover, has been enhanced fourfold from where Riley County ever used to be. I know I was with the department head was using our conference room last week, and they had 2 in a row that didn't show up. And that's more additional work that HR has to do in contacting those people to see if they're coming, or to, now we have to reschedule more interviews and get everyone together. And that is all part of what this position does. It keeps all of that stuff going so it can work smoothly for the organization and the departments. But it truly is a needed position. Your consideration would be appreciated.
If we add that position, how is that going to change our bottom line thing, the revenue neutral?
It won't change this
Is that
because
in
it's
there?
already added in there right now. It's on, I have a line on here for new and expanded positions, and that is included in the total. That is
That's the HR position.
the HR
Oh, the
position.
other one is already in.
Yep, I added that
in
into
her-
the planning
in
and
her-
development.
Oh, okay, they were both roughly.
So both of them?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were.
Both of
They
them
were.
here?
It's that number there. It's a number there, but it has not been approved, so it's not in the clerk's budget yet, where she moved
Oh.
the planning and development. position.
181.
So the others, the
Okay.
Yeah,
added would
that
be.
was, I would add that into the
Mhm.
clerk's budget if it was approved.
But
It's already
in these
included in
numbers.
those
Yes.
numbers.
Okay,
It was kind of confusing. I was trying to make it simpler,
Okay.
but
and I didn't have that sheet, but I knew they were both about the same number.
yeah, I had to go triple check, like, are those numbers right? Yeah.
That's one. Another issue that I wanted to bring up was appropriations. You know, what we've got. The way we've got it set, and it's still a little high, we could say, but the MTO got put in there for some reason it hadn't been before in their appropriations. And then also animals, animal shelter, we consider that appropriation.
I have the MPO still listed in economic development.
Yeah, but we didn't have it under the. It wasn't shown going back to this thing from a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't on here before. I mean, I'm not saying we weren't paying, but I'm just saying it was, and I don't know, is animal control and appropriation, or is it something we have? You know, how do we consider that? The other thing though is, of all these things, we paid everybody full and we took a huge hit off of Pawnee. Everybody else got funded and they got all of the cuts.
Well, they got funded. Pawnee.
I know, but
Not as.
everybody else got funded full time and we cut theirs $250,000.
Oh, they're asking for 100%
Well,
increase.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Everybody else got 100% of what they asked for. They did, and I realized theirs was over the top, but I didn't know if we should move theirs up a little and put on some others.
Well, I think considering that we haven't given them anything extra over the last few years, I think starting to include a little extra over the next couple of years to try to make up that difference would be the better way to go.
Well, and I wasn't saying go 100% through.
Yeah, I got you.
I was just,
I mean, there's a couple other ones, you know, even like the emergency shelter, if you take comparison to what they're asking for the total dollar amount, I mean, it's still a pretty significant increase. As it stands right now too, I mean, council on aging, that's a pretty large by comparison increase too. Maybe it's well deserved at this point in time, that's fine, and it's kind of fitting well within the scope of our budget at this point in
well,
time too, so.
because, I mean, the two big ones that we cut some off is that aging out of us.
Go ahead, Rich.
I don't know, maybe you did say it, Brittany, but I know we had talked about it earlier, but what you have to remember based on the system that the great legislature and their infinite wisdom has given us with the revenue neutral rate, which it truly is just the system that's intended to keep the mill levy rate based on just what they think is ideal. It's not based on actual expenditures. It's just a process, which we had public hearings and everything well before R&R was ever put in place. And we talked a little bit now about, you know, now we've got decent sales tax collections and enhanced investment income. That may not happen at some point in time. And you may have to lean heavier on ad valorem taxes when interest rates go lower, because that is part of your income statement that we were talking about with Gary. Is R&R's designed, if you keep it excessively low, it penalizes you on the out years, just like compounded interest.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to remember as well. Ad valorem tax and sales tax rates and investment income are not going to be always consistent from one year to the next. And so we lean on some heavier during opposing years based on interest rates and sales tax collections.
And I had that greater thought over the weekend when I was coming back and looking over this and thinking, you know, we should probably, you know, try to get a little bit closer to the revenue neutral rate itself rather than holding off on that just because of that issue.
Well, that's what I'm keep that on the, whatever that's called.
Budget stabilization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't remember that term.
Yeah, I know.
It's,
And to be totally honest with you, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay then with just leaving everything else the way it is and calling it good.
Which, you know, everything like all that,
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
even Pawnee,
yeah.
one increase in.
I just want to be clear. So leaving Pawnee at 350 or what were you? I just want to be sure Brittany's clear on how you get
Yeah, I'm
what the
gonna
figures.
leave appropriations as it stands right now,
Okay.
just as it is. Add the $150,000 back for the budget stabilization, because we have a standing policy to do that. And that's works in our favor along the way for other things that we'll need to do anyway. And
and we have skipped that a couple of times.
we have,
Yes, we have.
So it's,
Yeah.
but this year we have the availability, that
Mhm.
it'd be good. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Note to add $150,000 back to budget stabilization, and you're good with the rest of the agency appropriations, correct?
I'm good with it. Because we talked about making it 1.5, which we're a little over that.
And I think over the next year or two, we'll switch out a little bit. Well, I mean, we're kind of working on how to redo that in a way that's going to be consistent, so it's not going to be perfect to start.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
And when I said that, I mean, just as a,
yeah.
if we,
I'm still not gonna vote on the other new position, that's me, but, I think that's already added into the total, but that would be, from my perspective, another 50,000 that comes back, but it is what it is.
I'm in support of adding that position. I think it will help the clerk's office, so especially since a lot of people, some personnel have gone upstairs, so you can go back and forth, and the duties that I don't have it in front of me, but the duties of that position was different than it was needed. The way I look at it was needed, like job duties that weren't included in that.
didn't we just add that part-time position last year?
To payroll, we did.
Yeah.
We added a position to payroll.
Oh, okay, it wasn't for, well, isn't that what HR, what's the difference between?
They are separate. Brittany's, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I thought payroll and HR were all one.
They are not. Michelle, she's not here,
Yeah.
is under Elizabeth in HR, and then this temporary HR assistant that we have right now that is separate from the financial side of finance and payroll. The part that does the financial side of payroll and getting the paychecks cut is under Brittany. There are two divisions within the office.
They were doing payroll before.
They were
Reed
doing.
Was doing
Mhm.
payroll.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then we got, so last year. we
They're
added the-
separated.
We added the part, it was just last year we added the part-time, the half-time payroll.
She's a full-time position.
No, he's talking about the part-time that I'm talking about doing away with. That was added a couple years ago.
But I said, we added part-time payroll person. So,
We did that last year. We.
you said you got a part-time under
Brittany.
for payroll. That what you just said?
No, we don't have right now.
We
No,
have a
do not.
full-time,
Just-
we have
Yeah.
a full-time payroll clerk that you approved last year during the budget process.
Full-time.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
full-time.
it's
Full-time.
full-time. We added a full-time position in
Mhm.
there.
There's not currently a part-time one under.
Okay, but that would have taken some of the load off.
The other one was
That was to take the load off.
Mhm.
HR.
Mhm.
We technically took a position that was already there and expanded it full time for elections. That was the other one last year.
Do you have that one page that shows with the different positions response? And we had it in the last packet. I didn't think to put it in this packet. That was alluding to exactly what Commissioner Folke was, the duties that it does. But I don't have that here.
Yeah, it would be.
But so after last year, we had the payroll position to take that off of HR. Okay. Yeah, need another one. We need a motion to buy that one then?
Yeah, I think.
I'd make a motion to take off the to not expand the HR part-time position full-time.
Okay. I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to remove the I guess it'd be full-time position in the HR and clerk's department for HR. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against?
Nay.
Okay. And outside of the other changes, I think that's it, isn't it?
That's what I was just gonna ask, is the board ready to give Brittany direction to proceed with the budget as is? And of course, as you know, commissioners, next process, if approved, we'll put it all together and she'll get it back to you to review. And then at the next meeting, instruct her to get it to the auditors to review, to double
So
check.
it'll be the final, yeah, so you look at it one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. On Thursday, you could have that for she has time on the agenda.
So that'll still put you, 142,000 below revenue neutral.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that we're.
The board consensus, okay to.
Make more than that, 142 plus the 50.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, you're right, sorry.
Uh-huh. Yeah, about it. Mhm.
A quarter. About a quarter.
Right.
About a quarter mil.
Right.
Okay, so if you're all in agreement on that, and you don't have any other changes, I just have a couple other things we need to discuss really quick. Since we are gonna be revenue neutral, state statute requires that we have our budget hearing between August 20th and August 25th, basically. So,
5 days.
yeah, and we also are gonna have to have a cemetery, we have a cemetery that is going to exceed revenue neutral, and so they have to hold theirs prior to us hitting ours, because they are listed on our budget. So we are asking, to hold our budget hearing on August 22nd. So that way we meet that deadline, and then also because rural fire will be exceeding R&R, we need the deadline of having it between August 20th and September 20th for R&R for fire.
The fire will have to be a separate one.
Fire will be at the same time. This is very confusing. Yeah.
It is.
Whenever you that way, we do the fire first.
Well, I know we did it about the same time, but
Yeah.
you're saying since they exceeded, I didn't know if we had to do their separate.
Yeah, so if
No.
you exceed R&R, you have to have your budget hearing between August 20th and September 20th. But if you are not going to exceed R&R, you have to hold your budget hearing before August 25th. So that put us in a really tight window.
That's
Here's
weird.
one meeting.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You can thank Topeka for
No,
this.
well,
See, commissioners, how this really clarifies it for the taxpayers and makes it easier.
It's so transparent.
Just come to both hearings.
Yeah.
Almost we're just going to do the hearing, even though we don't need to do the hearing, just to make it easy. You know,
So on August 22nd, I have it scheduled. That's when we're gonna have our hearing for Riley County and rural fire.
so please tell me you have to do it at a certain time too.
If it
Oh, wait, I might not want to give them any ideas.
It's too late.
What
Just
is
said.
that?
It's August 22nd.
22nd.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
That's for fire.
The statute reads about, it's the governing body of each taxing subdivision that has to do the hearings. That's what's making this really bizarre.
So that, all the other ones, there's just one cemetery, I've seen in one town, and none of the townships or anybody else has anything.
Well, the benefit districts, if that's what, like our sewer and water, they're not, none of them are going to exceed.
Okay.
What about townships?
But that's not
I have
ours.
to talk with
We don't have.
Joe, yeah, but they're not.
Why is you said there's a cemetery?
We have cemeteries that are listed on our budget per state statute. They are allowed to be listed on our budget because you guys authorize the tax levy. And so,
Which is separate from our
Townships are,
Township have a separate elected board that authorize theirs.
Yeah.
some of the cemeteries are under the township, but they're not.
Mm-mm.
And it's tough. The problem is the statute says that the Board of County Commissioners must authorize the cemetery district. Authorization is different from whatever the R&R here rate is. And so
So glad they had this to clear everything.
it's
So glad we have experts in Topeka.
a brilliant system. You're stuck with what the statute says. So.
Mhm.
Because, and the reason being.
Tell us the timeline.
Well,
We'll take care of
well,
it. I can follow it.
Well, because if you don't follow it, particularly regarding R&R, you see what happens in Shawnee County.
Mhm.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, they
even
got $7.5 million.
an honest mistake doesn't. I'll be quiet now.
That does make June. Gives us enough time to get it to the auditor and publish and everything.
yeah, so the auditors are going to give me our 2023 draft this week. I already have numbers. We've been in communication a lot, so my numbers compared to his were not that much different, so I won't have too many changes. I already have a lot of the information entered into the state budget worksheet. But yeah, I'll definitely have more than enough time. Yeah,
Because then you send all the numbers to them to look over, and make sure we don't have something.
yeah, and make sure that there's no red lines or anything that says error. And yeah, he looks over all of that for us
Extra
and
payroll.
yeah.
Yeah, those are always fun ones.
Yeah.
So, and he's aware that we'll be sending it to him, you know, very soon, and then we'll get it to the paper. We have to have it submitted to the paper 10 days prior to our hearing, so.
Yeah, these are just all the total numbers that you get. You don't get to see all the numbers in between them. Make all this up to where we find little errors and stuff that we gotta double and triple check, and it's good to get another set of eyes on it.
Yeah.
And the big thing right now is ending balances, you know, that'll change it just a little bit.
Okay. I just wanna, I don't know if I should ask, but I wanna confirm we're good with COLA. Yes.
No, I think I'm gonna cut it 50%. Or maybe put another decibel in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think you, yeah, the decimal.
Yeah.
number.
Just wanna make sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I was going to the left.
Oh, that's not how I.
Well, that's not how the other ones, there were 2 decibels in there.
Guess we had to bring that up, didn't we? Sorry, Brittany.
We need them to approve the 3.8% COLA.
I thought we already.
Well, they did. That's in this.
Okay, just making.
That's in this. I mean,
We
the
have
board
to
of
unapprove it and then reapprove it if we actually want it.
I am just making sure.
You can always,
Yeah, we do.
you can always clarify.
Okay. I'm done burning bridges. That's all I have.
Well, if you continue to do that, the man to talk to is right there on the other corner.
You know, I was thinking though too that it's easy for you guys to come to Public Works and take money away, but when you have extra, we'll take that.
Yeah, we're gonna put it into facilities. Yay for you. You're welcome. Nice wall you have over there too, by the way.
They're making good progress. They're on the admin side, doing the outside walls and.
Of course, you told them to start there first, didn't
It's
you?
a beehive of activity. So there's 30 people there and they're just going as fast as they can go.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Oh, that's a breath of fresh air.
It's a heavy lift.
Mhm. It's done a little early this year. Actually, it's done earlier than we've done it before, actually, so props. Well, I think we've done enough today, so I don't have anything else.
Me either.
Okay.
Then I make a motion to adjourn the July 8th meeting of the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the July 8th meeting of the